Hey sweeties, so you ever watch a BL series so good it leaves your soul wrecked? Or one so dry it made you question every decision that led you to click play? Yeah, same here. Welcome back to the channel, where today, I'm not holding back. I'm diving into the heart, the chaos, and the heartbreak of the BLs that shook me, broke me, and in some cases bored me to tears. From the steamy, raw chemistry that left me gasping, to the lifeless pairings that felt like watching mannequins flirt. I'm ranking the BLs I watched, and trust me, this list might cause a little drama. Some of your faves might not make the cut, but one thing's for sure, I'm bringing the truth, the emotions, and all the intensity. So grab your snacks, hold on to your heart, and let's get into the rankings, because these BLs didn't just entertain me, they changed me. 1. Moonlight Chicken the series. I will give this series a 6/10. Moonlight Chicken began with quiet intensity and promise, a grounded, melancholic tone that immediately pulled you into Jim's world, full of late-night diners, flickering neon signs, and unspoken regrets. The first few episodes felt like a slow dance with sorrow, restrained yet emotionally layered. The storytelling was thoughtful, the dialogue carried weight, and for a while, it looked like this would be one of those rare BL dramas that dared to be deeply human. But somewhere along the way, the spark dimmed, the pacing faltered. What began as a poignant exploration of love, healing, and the emotional baggage of adulthood turned into a sluggish narrative that meandered rather than evolved. Characters that initially felt complex started making repetitive decisions. The plot, which once seemed rich with subtext and subtlety, began to feel heavy, not with meaning, but with drag. Emotional moments began losing their punch. You kept waiting for something, anything to shake it all back to life, but it never quite did. And yet Gemini and Fourth, they were the breath of fresh air the series desperately needed. Their pairing was, in many ways, the unexpected gem. While the main leads struggled with emotional stagnation, Gemini and Fourth brought youthful honesty, subtle tenderness, and a spark that cut through the show's fog. There was an innocence to their connection that felt raw and real, not overdone, not forced, just quietly magnetic. Their scenes carried the emotional truth that the rest of the series often fell short of capturing. You could feel it. In the shy glances, the unsure touches, the aching vulnerability. They weren't just acting out a romance, they were the romance. In fact, for many viewers, their storyline provided the emotional anchor that kept them from giving up entirely on the show. So while Moonlight Chicken gets a 6/10 overall for its lost momentum and missed emotional beats, Gemini and Fourth's performance alone is worth watching. In a show that sometimes forgot how to feel, they reminded us what chemistry, sincerity, and quiet longing can look like. 2. Cherry Magic the series. I will rank a 6/10 also. This series left me feeling underwhelmed. I wanted to love it. I tried to love it. But despite its soft-hearted premise and moments of sweetness, Cherry Magic felt like a story that never truly came alive on screen. Yes, the plot had potential, touching themes of self-worth, quiet yearning, and unexpected love. And at times, it did try to reach for something deeper. But something crucial was missing: emotional spark. The chemistry between the leads felt lukewarm, pleasant, maybe even cute, but never compelling. I didn't feel the pull between them, that raw magnetism that makes a romance sizzle or a glance linger with unspoken emotion. Instead, it felt safe. Too safe. Like two co-workers politely pretending to be in love rather than two souls colliding unexpectedly. There were scenes meant to be intimate. Quiet hallway confessions, the gentle brushing of fingers, hesitant kisses, but they lacked weight. No tension. No breath caught in the chest. I kept waiting for something to ignite, but the flame never caught. Maybe it's just that the pacing dragged. Moments that should have soared were stretched too long, stripped of intensity. Conversations wandered. Emotional beats were diluted. The storytelling played everything with a restraint that eventually dulled the narrative. And maybe part of my disappointment comes from having watched the anime first, a version that, in contrast, felt alive with emotion. The animated expressions, the timing, the tension between characters, it all felt sharper, more affecting. The anime made me care deeply. The live action barely made me feel. So yes, while Cherry Magic, the series had its moments of quiet charm and lovely intentions, It lacked that raw emotional core I crave in BL dramas. It didn't stir my heart. It didn't linger. It was okay, but just okay. 3. Fish Upon the Sky. I will rank this a solid 4/10. Don't hate me, but I have thoughts. Fish Upon the Sky was supposed to be a quirky, light-hearted BL rom-com, but instead of floating, it sank under the weight of its own awkwardness. Let's start with the plot, or rather, the lack of one. It felt like someone had a vague idea about a love triangle, threw in some high school shenanigans, sprinkled it with random comedy and then forgot to develop it into a coherent narrative. The pacing was erratic. Scenes jumped from silly to serious without warning. Character motivations shifted like sand. It didn't feel organic. It felt like a checklist of tropes with no emotional anchor. Then there's the comedy, which, for me, crossed the line from playful to painfully cringe. I know Thai BLs often lean into exaggeration, but Fish Upon the Sky took it to another level. The over-the-top sound effects, the cartoonish expressions, the try-hard slapstick instead of laughing, I found myself wincing. It was like watching a parody of a rom-com, but without the self-awareness. And yes, some parts were problematic. The entire Makeover arc for Pi, for example, felt rooted in shallow standards of beauty. It sent the message that he had to change himself just to be worthy of love. A storyline that felt outdated and damaging. The idea that a boy needs braces off, contacts in, and a new wardrobe to be seen as desirable, that hit wrong. Even the romance, which should have been the emotional center, lacked real weight. Pi and Mork had moments that tried to be sweet, but they never truly hit home for me. Their chemistry felt surface level, almost forced, like they were more interested in fulfilling fans of ice moments than building something authentic. And the second couple, barely there. In a genre brimming with heartfelt, funny, and emotionally grounded stories, Fish Upon the Sky missed the mark for me. It had potential, sure, but in the end, it felt like a series more concerned with being cute and quirky than being true. And as a viewer, I need more than just aesthetic fluff. So yes, 4/10, it tried to swim, but it flopped. 4. Spare Me Your Mercy. I will rank this a strong 8/10. Spare Me Your Mercy is a haunting tale that pulled me in with its chilling atmosphere and emotionally charged narrative. From the very first episode, I was intrigued. The plot centered around a murder investigation, secrets buried in the past, and fragile relationships torn apart by guilt and betrayal. Was gripping, even if it occasionally stumbled into some logical gaps. Yes, there were moments where the mystery unraveled a little too conveniently or certain leads were a bit too coincidental, but I didn't care. I was already invested. I let the emotions carry me. Sometimes, it's not about the logic, it's about the weight of the story, and this one had weight. But here's where it stings a little. For a show built on intense emotional stakes, I wanted to feel that same intensity between the leads. I wanted to be consumed by their pain, their longing, their resentment, but the chemistry just wasn't there. It's like watching two masterful musicians play next to each other instead of with each other. Each actor, individually, delivered phenomenal performances. Raw, layered, often gut-wrenching. You could see the effort in their eyes, in the tremble of their voices, in the way they held silence like a scream. And yet, together, something didn't click. The emotional push and pull between them felt more theatrical than lived in. I didn't feel the gravity of their shared history as deeply as I wanted. It was as if the story demanded intimacy, but the energy between the leads only ever reached professionalism. No spark, no fire, just tension without heat. That said, Spare Me Your Mercy still left a mark on me. The cinematography was hauntingly beautiful, the pacing was tightly wound, and the emotional themes, grief, redemption, justice were explored with real depth. Despite the missing chemistry, I couldn't look away. It's the kind of show that lingers in your chest, even if not in your heart. So yes, an 8/10. Powerful, gripping, beautifully acted, but not quite unforgettable. 5. Last Twilight the series. I will rank this a mighty 9/10. I didn't expect to cry, but I did, and I don't regret it. This series surprised me in ways I wasn't prepared for. From the very beginning, Last Twilight quietly pulled me in. No over-the-top fanfare, no flashy distract irons, just pure storytelling and raw emotion. It unfolds like a slow burn, but every scene builds with weight. The plot was delicate yet powerful, layered with themes of loss, healing, and love that doesn't ask to be understood. It simply exists, unwavering. I was not expecting the level of emotional depth this story offered. There were moments that genuinely tore at my chest, not because they were grand or theatrical, but because they were real. A glance, a held breath, a tear that wasn't meant to fall. These small things carried more weight than 100 dramatic monologues. The way it handled grief, disability, and finding light in the darkest corners was heartbreakingly honest. And let's talk about the chemistry. Undeniable, palpable, electric. Their connection wasn't just about romance. It was about recognition, about seeing someone's soul and choosing to stay. Every scene between the leads felt intimate, even in silence. The body language, the eye contact, the quiet moments where one simply existed beside the other. It was breathtaking. You could feel the tension, the longing, the love that bloomed slowly like twilight before nightfall. But despite how much I loved it, I can't lie. Some parts of the ending left me a little cold. After so much build-up and so many emotional peaks, I expected a finale that would either shatter me completely or leave me glowing. Instead, it felt somewhat rushed, a little too neatly tied in places that should have remained open and raw. I wanted more reckoning, more catharsis, more truth. Still, Last Twilight remains one of the most emotionally resonant and visually poetic series I've seen in the genre. It doesn't scream for your attention. It whispers, and if you lean in close enough, it wrecks you. And lastly, at number 6, my stand-in. I'm giving this masterpiece a resounding 10 out of 10. This series wasn't just good, it was a full-course emotional feast, served sizzling hot with raw passion, intricate layers, and a devastatingly human story. When I say my stand-in left no crumbs, I mean it devoured the entire table and still had me licking the plate clean. From the very first scene, the tone was set. A world of deception, desire, longing, and blurred identities. The plot wasn't just strong, it was sharp. Sharp like a blade that cut right through my expectations. What could have been a messy cliché about mistaken identity and industry politics transformed into something gripping, psychologically complex, and at times, brutally honest. There was no filler. Every moment felt intentional. Every silence carried weight. Every stolen glance mattered. But let's talk about Urfavbl-Fandoms and Urfavbl-Fandoms. Oh, my God. These two were unhinged in the best, most intoxicating way possible. Their chemistry didn't sneak up on you. It collided into you like a truck at full speed. It was electric, magnetic, chaotic, unpredictable. One minute they were tender and intimate, the next they were devouring each other like they couldn't breathe without touching. It was wild, and I wasn't ready. What made them work so damn well was how opposite they seemed on the surface. Up's calm, brooding intensity versus Pam's fiery unpredictability. But beneath that, they were mirrors of each other, both broken, vulnerable, hiding pieces of themselves. And when those masks slipped, the rawness that came out was devastating. That hotel room scene, I paused and stared at the ceiling afterward. It didn't feel acted, it felt lived, like they had cracked their own hearts open and let us watch them bleed. Up delivered some of his finest work to date, nuanced, restrained, yet simmering with pain. And Pam was electric. He threw himself into that role with so much abandon, so much truth. I almost forgot he was acting. Their intimate scenes weren't just physical, they were psychological warfare, tender therapy, and explosive desire all rolled into one. And the ending. Don't talk to me about the ending. It didn't just tie the story up. It shattered me, only to gently stitch my heart back together with hope and regret. My stand-in was more than a BL. It was a haunting portrait of fame, love, duality, and the search for authenticity in a world full of illusions. It wasn't afraid to get ugly, to get real, to make us feel every messy emotion in the book. I didn't just watch this series, I lived it, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. 10 over 10, no notes, no flaws, just art. And there you have it, sweeties. The highs, the heartbreaks, the couples who made me believe in love again, and the ones who made me question if they'd ever even met before filming. BL isn't just about boys falling in love, it's about us falling in love with their stories, with their flaws, their fire, their pain, and sometimes, with the way 2 stolen glances can carry more weight than 1,000 words. Some of these series left me breathless, others left me confused, but each one carved a place in my memory, for better, or for worse. Because that's the magic of BL, it's never just a show, it's a feeling. Now it's your turn. Do you agree with my list? Or are you ready to fight me in the comments? I welcome the chaos. Drop your rankings, your rants, and your favorites below. Let's talk, let's debate, let's fangirl and scream together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this was only part 1. I've got more drama, more couples, more tea, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep watching, keep feeling, and remember, love always wins. But chemistry is everything.